after this fufu and pepper soup, I go score goals like them, the dash points.
Kivo 100% natural hot pepper. Good for your jollof, stew, soup.
That's quite a feat. I mean, she's accomplished.
First female president as well. She's first of a lot of things, right? So this is real history. And she's charted a path that is going to be very inspirational to a lot of young women who are up and coming. This, hope. If you remember, that hope to the young woman out there, the young lady out there, that they can also rise through the ranks and achieve big things, in this life. And she represents, that hope. But let's go back. The Speaker of Parliament will continue with proceedings.
His Excellency, the President-elect, to take and subscribe to Your Excellency, you may now proceed to do so.
I, through faith
and allegiance,
as by law established,
that I will uphold
and that I will uphold
the sovereignty and integrity, defend.
And
I,
John Dramani Mahama,
having been elected
to
the high office,
do
in the name of the Almighty God swear that I will be faithful, preserve, protect
the Republic of Ghana,
and that I dedicate myself to the service and well-being of the people. Office
break this to the laws of the Republic of Ghana
and
Right, so President John Dramani Mahama has been sworn in as President of the Republic of Ghana. No more President-elect. He is now President John Dramani Mahama, and he will now take the seat that the President occupies when he goes to Parliament. And you can see him there sitting in the seat.
In its pursuit of progress.
Once again. And
modesty and above all, to guide a nation through challenging times.
What I really like about JD, about Rita Kumapa, you say me mini abema, or you been so on you pem, we are con case, we in a tree, we in a wheel,
Honorable members
of Obia,
President Mahama is practicing politics very well.
Hold it. The right honorable Speaker of Parliament, honorable members of Parliament, a day that offers me, your humble servant, a unique opportunity to work to reset our dear country, Ghana. Democratic transition. As President of the Republic of Ghana, history is being made once again. And it is a history worth repeating every 4 years with each newly elected president. Today, we're also making a different kind of history. One that speaks to our maturity as a democracy. A nation of citizens enfranchised with the authority at the polls to determine between the outgoing president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and I, feels a bit like a deja vu. That is because 8 years ago to this day, on January 7th, 2017, we shared this same space and performed it by the people of Ghana. We are fitting that it is with Nana Akufo-Addo that I twice shared this stage and this unique historical distinction. A firm handshake and a smile. And he is perhaps the only person in my life who has persistently shared a sense of mutual respect. In those early days, we probably could not have imagined that destiny would bring us to the leadership of our respective parties and that we would have to face off 3 separate times as we each vied for the highest office of the land. Head of black hair and you with the same bald head and round eyeglasses, I have to say that you have without exception been a worthy opponent. I extend my warmest wishes to His Excellency, the former Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. It was a grueling campaign, and we gave it our all. Your sportsmanship in making an early concession eased tensions and contributed to the early conclusion of the electoral contest. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. My brothers and sisters, the world in which Ghana exists today, as I begin this presidency, is not the same world in which we have lived under other presidencies. There are tensions and conflicts that have not previously existed between nations. These tensions and conflicts place pressure on alliances to decide where they've been steadily dropping. However, the combined total of the GDP of the BRIC nations, India, China, South Africa, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, UAE's combined total of world GDP was 30%. But by 2029, that number is predicted to drop to 27%. In 2023, the BRICS percentage of world GDP was 37 points, has taken us that we are not yet able to, on social media platforms, to sway a particular group's sentiments towards or away from something. Now more than ever before, we need to strengthen our ties with our neighbors to ensure that we're working together to keep our sub-region safe. We stand in solidarity and work in alliance with all our neighbors in the sub-region. Recognizing the history of our borders, we also acknowledge that on the other side of our country's borders are our family members. They may be Ivorians, they may be Togolese, they may be Burkinabes, they may be Nigerians or Malians, but they are also Akans, they are Kasinas, they are Guans.
Tired of wasting time finding high-quality expired domains? We understand your frustration, and we have a solution.
Of the climate crisis, and as the waters grow warmer, melting, the Arctic ice and permafrost, there's a great hit at a faster and faster rate than they did before. This is a serious challenge. Let us not forget and completely the COVID pandemic brought the entire world to a screeching halt. My government will be working diligently to strengthen our public health, and not if, but when the next pandemic or epidemic occurs, the loss of lives in Ghana will be minimal. And should never use it as an excuse to stray from the direct and immediate needs of Ghana for the well-being of our citizens. We must also bear in mind that the affairs of the world, if we care to shape, lessen, avoid, or even at the other end of things, maximize the effect they have on us. My brothers and sisters, barely a month ago, that you, my compatriots, considered me worthy of receiving such an unprecedented and overwhelming mandate to steer the affairs of our beloved nation at this critical time in our history. The magnitude of this victory in the presidential elections and the gains that were made by my party, the National Democratic Congress, in the parliament. But celebrations, no matter how justified and how well earned, must be supplanted by discernment, sobriety, a thriving democracy. They are deeply dissatisfied. Also understand a thriving democracy, pageantry with the establishment of a new government. They expect that if democracy is celebrated as a superior means of governance, then its outcomes must be more tangible and benefit them in their individual lives. Where people buffeted by severe economic crisis and hardships, and in the last few years, we have lurched from crisis to crisis. And hardships. And in the last few years, we have lurched from crisis to crisis. But there is hope on the horizon. Today should mark the beginning in our economic management. We shall reset our dear nation, Ghana. To the millions of my fellow countrymen and women, not go in vain. Our nation not go in vain. Our nation was born with much promise. That promise would seem hazy and in doubt now because of all that has happened in the past. But I urge you, my fellow countrymen, not to be sucked. I with all humility assent that I intend to be that leader with your cooperation and your help. As your next leader, I shall say the right time. I will have the humility and presence of mind to take responsibility for any challenges and be willing to act firmly and timeously to resolve the challenges that we face as a nation. Since the elections, I have read and heard the word hope used many times in relation to, and every time I address you subsequently, I intend to always tell you the truth. The circumstances we find ourselves in and stabilization of the macroeconomic environment. The third is governance and constitutional reforms. And the final, but not the least, is accountability and the fight against corruption. My brothers and sisters, we need faith to be able to achieve in our country and our leadership.